right today through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Just a reminder to please remain seated at all times and hang tight to all loose articles as we are not allowed to stop if anything falls out of the truck. And while the vehicle is in motion, please keep hands, arms, feet, and legs inside at all times. Now if you look above you, you're going to see an animal spotting guide. That will help you identify some of the animals we may see here on the safari today. We might not see all of them, but usually we have some pretty good luck. If you have cameras or cell phones, make sure to have those out and ready to go. I will try to stop for as many animals as I can. Unfortunately, we cannot stop for all of them, and not all of them will stop for us. Now, it does look like we have entered the Little Aturi Forest. On the right-hand side, walking around to the top of the hill, there is an okapi. And then be on the lookout on your left-hand side of the top of the hill, kind of behind the bushes, for some copper-colored animals with some stripes. Those are bongos on your left-hand side. Now, bongos are nicknamed the ghost of the forest because of how quiet they are. Their horns actually spiral and face backwards to help them stay quiet while running through bushes. And there are two types of bongos in the world, the western lowland and the eastern mountain. And these bongos on the left-hand side are eastern mountain bongos. On the right-hand side is an okapi. Now, a lot of people think that the okapi is related to the zebra because of its black and white behind, but actually they are related to the giraffe. And we know this because of the shape of their skulls. Okapis have really great hearing, so they rely more on their ears than their eyes, and they have vibration sense in their feet to help them communicate with each other. On the right-hand side, kind of halfway up that hill, those lighter-coated animals are greater kudu. Those are female greater kudu, and we know this because male greater kudus have horns that can reach about 6 feet tall. I'm looking a little bit quiet around this corner, but kind of a out of no worries. We're going to continue on our journey, see what other animals we can find. So as we pull around this corner on your left-hand side, be on the lookout for a very large black and white bird. And they're on your left-hand side. That is a saddle-billed stork. Saddle-billed storks can get to about 5 feet tall with a wingspan of 7 feet long. The males have brown eyes, the females have yellow eyes, and saddle-billed storks mate for life. But it does look like we have left the Little Aturi Forest and we have entered the Safi River. So welcome my friends into the Safi River. Keep up your eyes open in the water for some Nile Hippo. Nile Hippo can submerge themselves underwater for up to 8 minutes at a time, so there's a very good chance they are under the water. But Nile Hippo are among the largest and most dangerous animals in Africa. They can reach about 5,500 pounds. Hippos are nocturnal, and instead of swimming, they like to walk along the bottom of the water. A group of hippos is called a bloat. I do see some hippos on your left-hand side, kind of past that island. And then on that island on the left-hand side, you're going to see some pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelican are colonial nesters, which means they will share their nests with other pink-backed pelicans. And when there are eggs, both the male and the females will lay on the eggs for up to 30 days at a time. Now hippos have this noise called the wheeze honk that helps keep them together, especially when they're out at night grazing the grass. So one will wheeze honk and the others will respond. And the more dominant the hippo is, the more other hippos will respond to their wheeze honk. And just like how all of our voices are different, all of their wheeze honks are unique and different to them. But now here on Kilimanjaro Safari, the animals do come first, we come second. Sometimes we do like to have the same pathway, and that does create a little bit of a backup with our trucks. Especially on these kind of cooler days, that they do seem to be more active, kind of creates a stop and go motion. But as we pull up here, you're going to see another hippo on the left hand side, a little bit closer up.
Oh, look, he's walking. See him?
over this rickety bridge because on the left-hand side you're gonna see some Nile crocodile. Nile crocodiles reach about 16 feet long, which is about twice the size of the canopy above your head. And they don't have sweat glands like you and I, so they will open their mouths to help keep them cool. So if you saw any of their mouths open, they were just cooling down. One way to tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is that when their mouths are closed, crocodiles' bottom teeth stick out. Now, crocodiles are cold-blooded, so it does take a lot of energy for them to move. It takes about 3 hours just for their food to digest, which is why you don't really see them moving around too much unless it's going in or out of the water. Just like we are coming to the end of the Savannah River, and slowly but surely we are making our way into the Savannah. Down tree because its branches look like roots. That is a baobab tree on your right hand side. Baobab trees can store water in them for up to 9 months at a time, and animals can actually peel the bark off the tree and drink the water inside, giving it the nickname the Tree of Life. Has anyone else seen another Tree of Life here at Disney's Animal Kingdom? Yeah, that really large tree in the center of the park, that's a baobab tree. That one has leaves on it though, right? Baobab trees only have leaves on them for about 3 months out of the year.
I wonder how much that tree costs. A bunch.
Well, welcome my friends into the Savannah and one of my favorite views here on the safari. The view of the Savannah is heavily influenced by the animals that live inside it. For example, elephants will bulldoze down trees, giraffes will eat the leaves and help trim the trees, and different types of antelope or wildebeest will graze the grass and help trim the grass. So we're going to see if we can find some of those animals out here on the Savannah. It does look like we have a little bit of a giraffe exam up ahead, so we're going to hang tight for just a moment. It does look like these trucks are at a stop at the moment. We should be on our way shortly. I do appreciate your patience. No two safaris are the same. Sometimes they're smooth sailing, sometimes it is a little bit more stop and go.
That's right.
Oh, I like your stop and go because that means they're getting up close to you. It means the animals are moving.
Did you say it was a giraffe? Giraffe jam?
Giraffe jam, yeah. It's my one and only joke. We did pick it up, but it was a laugh.
It was pretty good.
That was good.
It was pretty good.
Thank you.
I like it when
There's a younger zebra, and they're just starting to like explore the reserve. So every now and then they'll start running around. So I think that's what's happening down here.
I like the dark colored giraffe.
Oh, I can see some giraffes over there. There's giraffes over there. I saw them. It's purple. I can see them moving out there.
Now coming up on the right hand side, kind of in the center of the grass lying down, you might notice some grayish black animals. Those are white-bearded wildebeest on your right hand side.
Oh.
Their name in Afrikaans translates to wild beast, and they're also called the gnu, spelled G-N-U, because of the sound they make. It sounds like nu-nu. When white-bearded wildebeest migrate, they can migrate into groups of 1,000. Then they can meet up with other groups and migrate into up to groups of 1 million. As we pull up here on the left-hand side, be on the lookout for some wild African dogs. It does look like a majority of them are sleeping in and around that rock cut on your left-hand side. But wild African dogs are also known as the painted dog. They are poached for their coats that are all unique to them. That's how they identify each other, by the pattern on their coats. And wild African dogs only have 4 toes. Although they do look super cute and cuddly, they are one of Africa's most successful predators. And that is because they will run their prey until they get tired. So I do suggest fighting off the urge to want to cuddle them. Coming up on your left-hand side, all the way to the back, are some darker coated animals with some very large horns. Those are Sable Antelope back there on your left-hand side, as well as there are some giraffes coming up on your left-hand side. Now, Sable Antelope have horns that face backwards to help deter off predators such as lions, and they also use those horns to spar to help determine who the most dominant Sable Antelope is. And you can tell who the most dominant Sable Antelope is because they will have the darkest colored coat. Also on either side of us are some red and brown mounds. These are termite mounds. Termite mounds are made out of dirt, spit, and feces, and they are hard as rock. Other animals will actually use them as scratching posts. Get a closer look at those white-bearded wildebeest as well. Now, all the giraffes you'll see out here on the reserve, they are all Maasai giraffe. I do believe this spotted guide above you says reticulated giraffes. You can still see reticulated giraffes on Disney property, but over at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, these are all Maasai giraffe. A cool thing about Maasai giraffe is that all of their spot patterns are unique to them. So just like how we have our fingerprints to help identify us, they have the pattern of their spots to identify them. I do see some zebras as well in the distance on the left-hand side.
There's the one zebra that keeps crossing. Yeah, that's the one that's causing all the...
It's just exploring.
Now, when a Maasai giraffe is born, they can reach about 6 feet tall, and they can grow to be between 18 to 20 feet tall.
Wow.
Their tongues are long too. They can be about 16 inches, and they're purple. And you see those zebras again on your left-hand side. I feel like the big question with zebras is always if they are black with white stripes or white with black stripes. Well, the answer actually relies on the color of their noses. So those are Hartman Mountain zebras, and they have black noses. Therefore, they are black with white stripes. Mountain zebras have dewlap, which is skin underneath their neck to help keep them cool, and teeny tiny feet to help them walk up and down mountains. A group of zebras is called a dazzle of zebras, and a baby zebra is called a foal. On the right-hand side, those creatures with the very large horns are Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle are the only domesticated animal out here on the reserve. Their horns actually have a honeycomb structure inside that helps keep them cool. And Ankole cattle are used as a form of currency in Africa, so farmers will put them in a manada at night. A manada is a hut made out of thorny bushes. They'll put the Ankole cattle in a manada at night to help keep them safe. They're also called the Watusi cattle, and that is because the Watusi people are the first people who domesticated them. From tip to tip, their horns are about 8 feet long, that's about 4 feet per horn. As I pull up here on the right-hand side, you're going to see some more Ankole cattle. And then you're also going to see some smaller antelope lying down. Those are Springbok on your right-hand side. Springbok in Dutch and Afrikaans translates to jumping antelope, and that's exactly what they do. When they're excited or frightened, they'll jump about 6 feet high and 13 feet long. It's called pronking. Springbok are the national animal for a lot of sports teams in South Africa, and both the male and the female Springbok have horns. Be on the lookout for a couple more zebras on the right-hand side, including the foal. It does look like he is hiding kind of behind those bushes. He is around a month old, and honestly perfect. He's so cute. Now, giraffes have really great eyesight, so their eyesight mixed with their height is a good defense mechanism against predators. And giraffes only sleep for about 30 minutes a day, but in smaller increments of time, like 5-10 minute naps, and they do sleep with their eyes open. Both male and female giraffes have ossicones, which are the little nubs on their heads. And a group of giraffes is called a tower of giraffes. Now, I do see some fallen down trees up ahead. I hope that means that there are some elephants in the distance. seeing as elephants are nature's bulldozers.
That's a orangutan.
I do see a couple of African elephants on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side, I do see some mandrills kind of monkeying around in the black background. So mandrills on your left, elephants on your right. Mandrills are monkeys. They are the largest monkey. They can reach about 100 pounds. Yeah, they're kind of in the back on the left-hand side. And kind of in that entanglement of trees.
Oh yeah, there's one right there.
Mandrills smile to show a sign of friendliness, much like humans. And they have pockets in their cheeks to store food, which I wish humans had. That would be very nice. And you can tell who the most dominant mandrill is because they will have the brightest colored nose of red and blue. Now those elephants are African elephants. There are a couple ways you can identify an African elephant. One is that their ears are the shape of the continent of Africa, whereas like Indian elephants have smaller ears. And their trunks are different too. African elephants have more of like a grabbing motion with their trunk, whereas Indian elephants have more of a scooping motion. But during the day, a lot of different types of hoop-sack animals, such as different types of antelope or wildebeest, they'll all spread out and they'll graze the grass. And then when the sun goes down, they'll come together to form like safety in numbers. And they'll actually learn each other's sounds and signals to be able to tell each other when danger is nearby. For example, the Springbok signal is silent. They actually have 2 flaps of skin on their backs that go up, and that is their way of saying that there is danger. But speaking of skin, elephants have very sensitive skin, and they have 2 main ways of cooling down. One is by flapping their ears, which can decrease their temperature approximately 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And another is by putting dirt or mud on their back to help protect their skin, much like how we would put on sunscreen to protect our skin. A group of elephants is called a herd. And elephants are poached for their ivory tusks. Although the main elephant-human conflict does come from the mining of coltan, which is found in their habitat and used in our electronics, such as cell phones and laptops. So one way you can help these beautiful creatures and to protect their habitat is by recycling your electronics if you are done using them. It's a small way to make a big difference. I also say it's one of the easier ways to make a big difference because you're not necessarily creating a lifestyle change. Just if you're getting a new phone or a new laptop, instead of storing it away and not going back to it, you can recycle it, and then that'll help save their environment. Researchers in Africa found out that elephants are afraid of the sound of bees. So farmers in Kenya will put beehives around their farms to help keep their farms intact and also to help stop the hunting of elephants for ruining farms. They'll also make a profit off of the honey from the beehive. Pulling around this corner, also on your left-hand side, you're going to see some flamingos. These are the greater flamingo. They are the largest and lightest colored pink of the flamingo. And they get their coloration from their diet, which is shrimp. So the carotene in the shrimp turns their feathers pink. And a group of flamingos is called a flamboyant. A flamboyant, yeah. Now the reason that flamingos lift one leg is actually to help regulate their body temperature. So it's kind of like if you were under a blanket and you were really hot, so you stuck one leg out to help cool yourself off. That's kind of the equivalent of a flamingo lifting up one leg. It helps them regulate their body temperature.
Maybe that's what you need to stuff in.
Yeah.
the left-hand side, you're going to see some white rhinos. Now, white comes from the Afrikaans word Veit, which means wide, and that's in relation to their mouth. So they have a wide mouth, whereas their cousin, the black rhino, has a more triangular-shaped mouth. And white rhinos can weigh about 5,000 pounds. Rhinos are apex animals, which means their greatest threat is humans. And they're poached for their horns, which are believed to have medicinal value. But actually, they're made out of keratin, which is in our hair and fingernails. Now, a group of rhinos is called a crash, and it does look like these rhinos are actually hanging out by a very large mud pit on the left-hand side called a mud wallow. Mud is really great for rhino's skin. It helps protect it from the sun, and it's also used as a bug repellent. As we pull up here, we're going to be on the lookout for some cheetahs on your left-hand side. Cheetahs are my favorite game of I Spy because they are very good at blending into their surroundings, although I do believe I see a cheetah on the left-hand side, like right above those rocks.
This one's like behind that stump. Oh yeah, look at it. He's looking at it.
Cheetahs are the fastest land mammal. They can run about 60 miles an hour. And they do that because their claws are non-retractable. As I pull up here, I think you'll be able to see the full body view of that cheetah. Cheetahs also hunt during the day rather than the night. And they do that because they have two black lines that go from their eyes to their mouth to help reflect off the sun so they can see better during the day. And cheetahs are the largest cat to purr, so they do not roar, they actually purr. But speaking of cats that do roar, it does look like we are coming up to some Kopi rocks. Kopi rocks are a pile of rocks that can be found in the savannah. They're usually inhabited by large cats, such as lions, to help them look down on their prey. So you're going to keep our eyes open for some large cats. Now, lions are nocturnal, so they'll sleep for between 16 to 20 hours a day. And then at night, the females will do the hunting while the males stay back and watch the pride and the cubs. I do believe I see a female lion coming up on the left-hand side. You can identify the difference between a male lion and a female lion because males have manes that grow darker with age of maturity, and females do not have manes. Let's pull up here so we can get a closer look. During the day, lions and humans have the same strength in eyesight, and then at night, their eyesight grows 6 times stronger than ours. When a lion roars, you can hear it from up to 5 miles away. And they have pads on their paws that help with traction and with staying quiet while hunting. Now, I do see 2 females. As I pull around, I'll go pulley, which is Swahili for very slowly. There is the male in the background. He's right behind those rocks. You can kind of see the floof of his mane kind of sticking out from behind those rocks.
Oh yeah.
Floof being a technical term. It does look like on the left-hand side there are some warthog burrows. You guys looking for some warthogs? Warthogs are related to the domesticated pig, and they will either make their own burrows or they will take them from another animal. Looks like they're coming out of the burrows on the left-hand side. And when they go into their burrows, they back into them with their tusks facing out to help ward off predators. Pop quiz, does anyone know what Pumbaa means in Swahili? It means foolish ones. So it looks like there are a couple of ostriches lying down on the left-hand side. It doesn't look like they're lying in sand. Sand and dirt is really good for ostrich feathers to help clean them off. On the right-hand side, there's some more white rhinos, and then right in front of those white rhinos, kind of in the shade, are some ostrich eggs.
They won't mess with them. So, wow.
Ostrich eggs can weigh about 3 pounds each, which is the equivalent of 2 dozen chicken eggs. And they are so sturdy that a fully grown human male can stand on them and they will not break. Ostriches are a bird. They are the largest bird. And although they have wings, they cannot fly, but they can run up to about 40 miles an hour. And they use those wings to help them navigate. What are you doing? Like birdie. All of their inside are hurricane. If they ever feel like there's a threat for weather, they'll move to their inside. Yeah, they're all like severe weather. Shelter, yeah. Now it does look like we have left the savannah, my friends, and we have entered the Vighati Glen. And coming up on the left-hand side, you're going to see a scimitar forthorix. A cool thing about them is they can go up to 9 months without drinking water. And that's because they get enough hydration from the plants that they eat. Scimitar horned orcas don't start sweating until they've reached 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And they are considered extinct in the wild. So safe reserves like this are the only place that you are able to find them. Alrighty, my friends, it does look like our safari is coming to an end. I hope you enjoyed your time here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. If you're leaving here today and thinking of ways that you might want to help the planet or some of these beautiful creatures you saw here today, there are a few things you can do. One is to recycle. There are recycling bins all over the Walt Disney World property. And another is to donate to Disney's Conservation Fund. You can do that at any Animal Kingdom merchandise location, over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, or if you ever go to Epcot, over in the Seas with Nemo and Friends. So those are 3 places that you can donate to Disney's Conservation Fund. 100% of your donation does go to the fund, and every little bit counts. If I have any wilderness explorers on board, you are riding the Simba one. But now would be a great time to start collecting those belongings. Make sure you have absolutely everything. And as always, if you have any questions at all, feel free to come up to the front of the truck once we have docked, and I will answer anything to the best of my ability. My windows are always open. But now here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye because it is far too sad and far too final. So instead we say Kwaherini, which means to go well. So Kwaherini, my friends, go well, go wild, go make a difference. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom or wherever your travels may take you. Once again, my name is Kaylee. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I had a great time. Definitely come back and visit us again soon. No two safaris are ever